I've been on a little mission. I've had to clean and do all kinds of things unexpectedly to, you know, stay on the right side of everything. But, you know, there was a tiny amount of time for a little bit of shopping in these streets, and I was able to get my hands on the somewhat legendary BH Cosmetics Iggy Azalea makeup line, right? I got the basically contour palette. It's a 6-color face palette. Talk to the hand. Talk to the hand, because this face is too fierce. Put in work with Totally Snatched. It's like they went on Instagram and found this copy. 6-color face palette, an array of brighteners and contours that will get your entire beat bomb.com. What year is it? It's supposed to be a 90s inspired set of palettes. I got the pink and the blue. I'm still looking for the purple. And it's in French as well. Instantly define your best features. Well, with a simple sweep of these universally flattering beiges, golds, and deep tones in velvety matte and reflective shimmer finishes. Now, this item has been chewed up, and it's, you know, I think this is a couple of years out of date. This package was also damaged here, but, you know, I just wanted to try it because it looked like it had a really pale and a very dark and some tones that are in between, and it could do something, you know, and I'm always interested in trying these different collections that are released, because some of them, this one actually had some good buzz online, and, you know, as you know, I've had to do some, you know, period makeup looks that, you know, 80s is typically purple, and that was a kind of like male stripper inspired series that's in production now. And then blue was for an 80s like female drug dealer project that's also shooting now. So this is the Totally 2000s, I guess it's not 90s, it's 2000s. Totally 2000s Blue Fur palette from our friend Iggy Azalea and BH Cosmetics, which sadly is going through bankruptcy. And the copy on the back reads, "Ballin!" exclamation point. You're everyone's baby girl or boy, B-O-I is the spelling, in Totally 2000s 9-color shadow palette in blue fur. This array of frosted baby blues, complementary neutrals, plus metallics in smooth matte and blingy shimmer finishes provides mega payoffs that last forever. Okay, I mean, I guess this is maybe at the period she was making that kind of Clueless inspired video for Fancy, if that was the name of the song. But this palette is kind of the truth, right? Not only do you have the blues that a makeup artist used, that Morphe Cool Blue palette, I'm not sure of the title, on my eyes and made a very unflattering black line, I think, under my eye. It just was something that I was like, wow, if I'd done it myself, I could have done better. And I just think it has some really surprisingly beautiful transition shades, and it spoke to me. It's not a huge palette. It's about the size of the palm of your hand, but it's enough, right? You don't need some big old Morphe palette. You're not going to be wearing that much blue. But when the wardrobe, makeup, and hair notes come, you're going to be prepared for a very tiny price. Instead of $7, this was $4.99 from our friends at Marshall's. And I also got the pink one, which is called Totally 2000s Pink Sunglasses. Which one shall I try tonight? Stars. This is the copy on the back reads, sorry, whatever, exclamation point. Get on your princess shit, with the asterisk to be polite, in Totally 2000s 9-color shadow palette in pink sunglasses. This array of frosted baby and hot pinks, yellows, plus complementary neutrals. See, that's where the BH Cosmetics part comes in. Complementary neutrals in smooth matte and blingy shimmer finishes provides mega payoff that lasts a crazy long time. Is this the MySpace era, the 2000s? Is this LimeWire period, or was that the 90s? I'll have to check. But this is made in Taiwan, assembled in China, and then the company appears to be based, distributed by BH Cosmetics, Culver City, and also in Germany. I believe this is a company that is based in California, but you know, it has these graphics, and it has our friend Iggy right here and some other folks that, you know, evoke the totally 2000s, and there's almost some sort of woman of color here kind of evoking that Clueless, you know, all those movies, all those like Mean Girls aesthetic kind of, there's a bunch of different movies that had very, very strong styling of women, about women, and it's nice that she's put some girls of somewhat color on the package. You can't really see this person's entire face on the back, but that's thoughtful. You know, I have a lot of respect for not only the product, but also the aesthetics that our friends at BH Cosmetics get into, because they don't seem, you know, thoughtless and clueless about it. Get it? Clueless? Whatever. But yeah, what do we have on our face? We have blurring something. Our friends at Elf Prep and Blur Stick. We put this on, and then we made some TikToks, and we went on another app, and I kind of don't even remember. I was really tired. I had a cup of coffee. I brewed it instead of having cold brew, and then I sat for a bit. I, you know, took a little rest period, and I figured I would do a little something because it's been a few days. I've had to clean up something serious because of some, you know, surprise work from the maintenance people. Now, I've also been doing a little bit of, you know, beauty shopping here and there, but let me show you the most, besides the Iggy Azalea, and I still have high hopes to get my hands on the purple, purple one. Why can't I do this? Okay, here we go. To try to stay in frame. I wanted to get the purple eyeshadow palette, but on the same visit to Marshall's, I not only got the Alexis Stone Makeup Revolution palette, right? As we continue to struggle with our friend James Charles and whether we should be using his palette, just like whether we should be using Jeffree Star's brushes, along comes Alexis Stone with a very powerful color story that seems like, and I should do a video comparing the two palettes, because this seems to give you that rainbow assortment of colors. This isn't super heavy on the oranges, but you can probably blend some of these reds with the yellows to give you more of an orange, and it doesn't have some of the duochromes that James Charles has in his palette. But Rich Lux made me buy it. He said that this was a really important palette, and I think it has another little palette that goes, it's like a little tiny rectangle. I didn't find that one, but very excited to have this one. I'm all into makeup that's historical. And then I tried to watch a couple of videos of Alexis Stone because I have to admit I didn't know who that was. I saw him doing a tutorial on a Kate Moss lookalike, but check this out. Oh my goodness, right? If you thought that this little, where is it? This little like Tiffany blue hand mirror wasn't the be all end all, well, let me show you what I got. Oh my goodness. For a mere $4.50 at our friends Marshall's. Nobody wanted this item. It's a Batman mirror. Oh my goodness. I couldn't believe my eyes, right? You sift through the kind of picked over discount part of Marshall's. You know, you're just trying to get out of the heat. You're just stumbling around between your appointments, checking out what's in there, and lo and behold, right? Because I have to admit, my head was kind of turned by those Jeffree Star mirrors, and I saw that the BH Cosmetics Doja Cat, oh my goodness, look, I'm sending up the bat signal. This looks just distractingly cool. You know, and I thought about the one that looked like a bomb pop, and I was like, oh, I don't know, you know, the racism, the accusations, the apologies, but nothing could be wrong with a Batman mirror, right? Is it a good mirror? It certainly is a wide mirror, right? It's very shimmery, but it doesn't have a magnifying side, but for $4.50, I think the Doja Cat one is small and round, and that it just said Doja Cat on the back, and I'm kind of like, I appreciate the subtlety of this because it doesn't need to say Batman. It is Batman, right? And you kind of can hold it up and get a shadow in the shape. I was so excited to get this. $4.50, because you know I love a bargain. Let's see. I wanted to have my top knot in this, but I'm trying to deal with this new framing. You know, I recently learned how to push into my face. I also had recently gotten, I believe at the 99-cent store, a couple of Cala shading brushes. Wide rounded Cala shading brush is perfect for applying a gentle sweep of eye color. Great for blending and highlighting too, right? It has the same language in Spanish and French, but for $1, you can't go wrong, right? In this world where we sometimes have to use one brush per color, this is certainly a very useful shape of brush to have. Is it natural bristles? It doesn't say. It says it's eco-friendly, cruelty-free hair. Okay, so it's hair of some sort. Bamboo handle. That's reassuring. I have some Cala brushes. I've been very happy with them. You know, I do have some more expensive brushes that I'm starting to kind of cycle into my world. But I thought these would be handy, and indeed, I think they will. What else did I get hold of? You know, the Jason Wu items are on sale at Target. So I was able to get Hot Fluff 02, which is, what is the shade name? This is Gingerbread, which I think is supposed to be a deep rust, which on me, being yellow-orange, looks very cool and delicious. I also got another one of these BH Cosmetics Lost in Los Angeles palettes, because this is very good. Let me just reiterate, if you don't have that, you might want it, because color payoff for pastels on my skin tone is very unexpected, and I continue to be delighted by that palette. I still have to do a little bit more with my W7 ABH and Huda dupes. I also got this e.l.f. Cosmetics Smoky Eye Kit. Should I be neat and cut it instead of ripping it? I don't even know if I actually will need to have the package, but let's use our little nail scissors to open this guy up. But you know, I've been having bad luck with my lives lately. You probably see, like, you can hear me talking, but then the image goes black. I don't know if it's the time of day. I don't know if it's the cell service. I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi. I promise I've paid my bill, but here we are trying it again. Oh, this is clever. So it has the hygienic envelope. It says that this brush kit was curated by makeup artists to help you create looks step by step. The classic smoky eye isn't as hard to achieve as it looks. Use these brushes and follow this tutorial or make up your own to create the perfect smoky eye. Using the eyeshadow C brush, that's this one, which is very much like the ones I just got from Calla. Maybe the e.l.f. one is a little bit shorter and broader, right? Just trying to understand the logic of our brushes. So use the C brush, apply a base eyeshadow shade all over the lid. Using the fluffy eye blender brush, number 2 right here. Hope you can see that. Apply a mid-toned shade along the crease of your eye and blend. Number 3, create a smoky effect by blending a deeper shade all over the lid, stopping at the crease. Use the blending brush for a diffused daytime look, or the eyeshadow C brush, back to the first one, right? Or the eyeshadow C brush for a deeper, more concentrated color. Blending brush to diffuse, or this first brush to add a deeper, more concentrated color. I'm tired. Maybe this isn't making sense. Number 4, apply, this is this angled brush here. Apply a liquid or gel eyeliner to the upper lash line using the small angled brush. Get as close to the lash line as possible using the small precision brush, which is this one in the center. Apply a black or dark brown eyeshadow all over the eyeliner to smoke out the edges. So that's what the smoky part is. You apply your gel or liquid eyeliner and then you set with a powder eyeshadow, black or dark brown, all over the eyeliner to smoke out the edges. Apply the same deep shade of eyeshadow on the lower lash line to complete your smoky eye look. I'm going to keep this little envelope of directions. On a more rested day, I'll be able to understand that better. But I like the logic of this brush collection. There's also another brush collection from Sonia Kashuk that seems to have similar kind of precise instructions. So this is our light beige e.l.f. hydrating camo concealer, right? There's really nothing on our face. I figured we would go in with some kind of lid primer, and then this is a fitting room check that somehow I had in my set bag, and I figured maybe today's the day to try to use this as an edge for eyeshadow. Let's see if I can remember. But let's see. First we have to lay on our delicious concealer. Can we use our new Batman mirror? I think we can. And we need just a random brush, maybe one of our new Calla brushes, right? Get it into a little water, shake it off, get the excess off on the back of our hand. Take our, should we apply this with a brush or a silicone sponge? You can tell I'm tired, but in any case, let's try our silicone sponge. Just a dot, because you really don't need much of this. We just are trying to give a gripping base to our eyeshadow. But let's whip it out, right? Let's not linger. Let's try to knock out this look. And then our new mirror, right? Looking into our mirror, looking so you can see me, dot, dot. Right? Do we need to carve out our brows? Not sure, but we can certainly use our very gentle and loving silicone sponge to get this concealer all around the eye, right? If we're gonna put smoky shadow under the eye, well then, gosh darn it, we should do a little concealer primer under there too. I did watch one of my favorite YouTubers do her new face routine today. And it's like, you know, I watch, I try to learn, I try to absorb what you know, what people are doing in terms of not going crazy with too much product. You know, all that brow carving out never seems to be essential for me, but I try to kind of absorb the information just in case. So if that is our, we still have some left, so I guess we should just get that into all of our conceal places, right? So if we get it on the chin, I'm not really good at like leaving the concealer on long enough for it to become tacky. I just kind of get it where it goes. And I've kind of listened to the criticism that says like if you don't let it set and become tacky, then it may not last quite as long. You know, I end up doing that kind of naturally when I have to go to work because I'll put on concealer and then I'll go like put my clothes on. But when I'm on camera, because I go live and I don't edit like a lazy bones person, I should get to editing. Even in my phone, you know, I trust. I'm trying to become sort of better and more streamlined at all of these things that I do for you, the people, including, you know, sort of having a shared journey of makeup. So what do you think? Dealer's choice. The chat is live if you'd like to participate, but should we go totally plastic blue or totally plastic pink? I'm thinking blue, just because blue is such an exotic but necessary color. I also got a roll of tape to think, well, maybe that's another option for kind of creating a sharp angle with your eyeshadow. Totally plastic. And you know, what's surprising is that this isn't just like Sanrio or Claire's makeup. It really has, this is the damp brush, so we don't want that. This is the damp brush we didn't use to put on our eyeshadow, but luckily we have another one that's dry. So looking in this palette, it looks like our transition color should be this color here, right? It is not shimmery, it's pale. There's also a kind of pale, these are both different blues. It doesn't really read that way. This seems to be more of a baby blue. This is more of a gray, but I'm thinking this terracotta kind of peach shade should be our transition shade. So let us hold our mirror. I wonder if we can do it in this direction. Let's try it in this direction. So we just get our brush into our palette and kind of stroke the bristles in there real nice, real firmly, but you know, wanting to just tap this into place as an all over color to set our concealer, but also still always think of a lifted shape, a shape that kind of gestures toward the end of your eyebrow in the most loving fashion, right? I have watched people just sort of restrict their eyeshadow to just their lid, right? Without extending into the temple area. But I do really feel like as a hooded eye person, it makes your eyes look larger just to take over a little real estate, right? Hanging your liner just at the corner of your eye doesn't do what it could do to enlarge your eyes. And I'm a fan of large eyes. I'm also a fan of the way that this color is paying off on my lid. For a hooded eye person, it's important to angle your mirror down and look down into your mirror just to make sure that you're buffing out any creasing in your crease, right? And that you're seeing a uniform layer of color on your lid, right? Transition shade, all over shade, you know, there is a school of thought to do single shadows, right? Just a single shadow and a mascara and leave the house without shimmer, right? And even that on its own is quite pretty. Just trying to make sure we have enough color payoff under the center of our brow. You know, I've been watching people do halo eyes. I've been watching people do just really extraordinarily pretty different shapes. I feel like I don't gravitate toward a halo eye. I feel like when I watch people do their shadow and I see them do a completely dark lid, the way those brush instructions from Elf said to do, I feel kind of hurt and neglected as a hooded eye person, because I really do feel like the inner corner shimmer, it kind of elevates your beauty game as a hooded eye person, so that you're not feeling, it's almost like people suggest that you should regret. And of course I didn't use this card. Back it goes. It's in the chamber. If we need to do that at some point, it's there for us. But I quite like the way that, you know, certain artists, I don't know if they draw it freehand, because I feel like some folks I watch, they cheat. They never really show you how they get all of their, you know, sort of swirls and all that stuff. They kind of have it on by the time they're on camera. And I feel like as makeup gurus, they're like, and all that, but they don't really get into the brass tacks of how they do it, right? You never get to see them. Is it a freehand thing? Is it, you know, drawing with a stencil? I don't know, because it seems to be a secret. Just like, again, if you watch beauty gurus intently and you see their videos edited, but it seems to often skip steps that, you know, a certain beauty guru never shows you her nose contour. And I can't say whether the contour is contoured or if it's a contour by omission. That on her skin tone, if you highlight here and you highlight there, then if you're in a deeper skin tone, then this becomes a contour by default. That's my theory, but I can't be sure because she doesn't show us. But you know, we all try. I certainly do try to learn as much as I can and do. And here we go with the same issue with our camera focusing back here instead of on our face. Maybe I should sit forward. One day I'll be doing this with a real camera instead of just messing around. Okay, so from here, we want to get a shadow on our outer corner, right? So this blue is a shimmer, but it's also the deepest shade in the palette. So let's risk it all. Should we use the same brush? Let's cheat and do that. Get that into that shimmery blue, right? And see what we can do on our outer corner, right? Wanting to be precise, wanting to be in a lifted shape, wanting to respect, you know, the artistry that's gone into creating this palette. When I'm on my way to the gym in the morning, I'll experiment with with eyeshadow, and just take a brush like this and then look into a mirror and just brush it in. That was too much. Now I've got it on my inner corner. It certainly is pigmented, but I guess that's what we call fallout. But sometimes I'm just curious about a new palette, and I'll just kind of slap it on my face so that I can, you know, see what's what, go to the gym, come back, take a shower, and then have it in place. Damp beauty sponge. Let's clean that up as best we can. Yeah. So let's try to be careful with this blue. It is intense. We're not trying to cancel out that what's reading terracotta on our skin. We are thinking about a lifted shape We're looking down into our mirror to make sure that the shadow is in our crease. And other side. Let's be careful. We don't want to get burned. But instead of stroking it, let's tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. We want a lifted shape. We want symmetry from one eye to the other. But yeah, you know, I've been organizing and doing laundry and cleaning up my thrifted treasures and feeling, you know, excited to make content. But then I got the news that I might have to, you know, spend more time at the office, shall we say. And I don't know, I felt a little bit of regret, right? I've done a lot. I haven't done everything I wanted to do with this time. The shadow, because of this shade under, is not paying off as sort of baby blue as it looks in the palette. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But if from here we take a fluffy, again, questionable Jeffree Star brush, if I could find a brush that I thought did a better job, then I would do it. I would use that brush. But the jagged nature of what seems to be goat hair, is it goat hair because of Satan? Is it goat hair because that just makes the brush better? Blending the edges of those two shadows together. I'm really trying to spend some time blending because, again, edited beauty tutorials to newbie like myself, it doesn't really indicate to you how long you should spend blending, because when I'm on set, it's like to do a very simple eye look with a palette that I brought to set. This gentleman took, it seemed like 20 or 30 minutes to just do a simple wine sheer look, but it was like he was poking me all over my eye and I couldn't see what he was doing. But when he was done, I told him, it's like, that is not what I would have done. I would have gone in, not sheared, not adding layers. Oh no, just drawing it on as if painting by the numbers, right? And even now, I'm sure I'm not taking as much time to blend as I might if I were a makeup artist who was being paid, you know, hundreds or thousands of dollars to do someone's makeup, especially for a photo shoot rather than stage. But, you know, at the very least, I can say I'm interested in it. I may not be the best at it, but I explore these concepts of seamlessness and all this so that I can at least do something that's a little bit, if not in the ballpark, then, you know, do a little something. I'm starting to experiment with my paint brushes, right? Very stiff paint brushes, right? Or should I go for more of a, I don't know what you call it. Not a, it looks like a little cat's paw, right? Something shorter and denser to lay down that inner corner shimmer. Not a pencil brush, nothing with length, but something short and stubby. Where is the right brush? Here's a Bobbi Brown Essentials shadow brush. So it's got a little bit more of a set of hairs that are kind of, you know, kind of like stadium seating. So let's try this for inner corner shimmer rather than this, which might be more of a liner brush. You know, we're learning our brushes and we're learning our palette. So if this is outer corner deep blue mixed with my skin tone appearing green, right? Looking in all different viewfinders and mirrors, right? That gradation between that kind of peachy shade and that blue, which is reading green on my skin. And now, what is the proper inner corner shimmer? Because both these blues are matte. Should we do a matte inner corner just to get more blue? If I layer it over this terracotta, it's gonna probably look as green as the outer corner. We have three shimmers, right? We have this copper, and then we have a gray, and then we have, oh, I don't know what color this is. It's almost like a duochrome green blue, but it's very pale and icy. Let's rock with that pale icy shade. So taking our brush, dipping it in, and at a certain level, you look at this palette and you're like, it's small, but again, you're not really gonna be rocking a blue color story that often. Hope you can see me. But when you are, wow, look at that. That is totally plastic. It is a blue, green, silvery shadow, and it marries very well with that outer V blue that reads kind of green on my skin, and it has flecks of blue and green in it. You have to be very, very subtle with this shimmer because it is shimmery. You don't want it to overtake your makeup completely. I do like the top of the shimmer to kind of extend a little bit further out than the bottom, just so it gives you a butterfly effect. And it's so pretty. That just definitely makes it look like nighttime. Kissing that to the inner corner, right? Do we need to clean up the edge of the shadow? Or can we just let it live and be shadowy? I'm not mad. So the directions said to take some sort of gel or pencil liner onto the lid, right? We have this eyeliner pencil in a, it's not black, it's not brown, it's like a bronze, right? Is that kind of mixing our message? Should we just go for a brown of some kind? Cocoa lip liner. We're in the wrong department. We're in the lip liner department. Where can we find a brown? We know that I really like bronzes on my eye, but for this lasting brown from our friends at LA Girl, never lets you down. So, looking into your mirror, looking at where your hood is and looking at your lower lash line and being very strategic to extend the lower lash line and go up in a way that kind of avoids getting lost in your hood, right? And stroking that on. So it's got some depth, but it's not black. It's not as black as our lashes, right? If this is a daytime look, if this is a look that's wanting to be, I'm not even gonna say subtle. If it's just wanting to be dressed, right? You're dressing your eye. You're making your eye not look regular and naked. You're making your eye look, this is too much light. Making your eye look just a little bit more elevated. Other side, looking at your lower lash line and your hood, and taking a shape that extends the lower lash line, right? You can even stroke a little bit of this liner onto your lower lash line, right? But, you know, I've been watching makeup tutorials for a while, and I've just gotten aware of this whole, you're not done when you put liner on your eye. The other thing you need to do to make your makeup last and to also make your makeup look a little bit more complete and just for your own amusement, is stamp over that liner with shadow, right? It doesn't need to be the biggest wing. It doesn't need to be wild, but it does need to kind of say what you need it to say, right? Taking this precision smudger brush. Is this the right brush? Or should we get into, here is that paintbrush again, with that stiff set of bristles and that sharp, sharp edge. I hope this is the right brush. So if we get that into our dark blue again, in this palette, it's a shimmer, but we're gonna try to stamp that over this brown liner and see what happens, right? We see that wing, take that blue right on top, right? Because the stickiness of the pencil will make that blue stick on, but it'll also keep the base liner pencil in place, right? Just like you set cream or gel products with a powder, your eyeshadow is powder. And you just want as much precision as your brushes and your product can give you, right? I appreciate the transition shade. I appreciate that subtle inner corner wing. I appreciate the, you know, the color story is not a bad one for anyone who has a bit of melanin in their skin. It's not, I guess it is cool toned, but you know, something being cool toned, and if you are a warm undertone person, it's not to say that you can't, and I did think this for a while, it's not to say that you can't play in the cool tones, but it'll look a certain way on your skin, right? I find that I really like a cool toned bluish pink lip color, even if it's pale, because if I'm playing something like law enforcement or I'm a waitress or something like that where it shouldn't be red, it shouldn't be coral, it should look like my lip color, that taking it cool rather than warm and rather than just pink is a subtle way for me to get away with wearing more makeup than I should, right? Some people like to be barefaced when they play, you know, a nurse or a doctor or whatever, but even just evening out your skin tone and then putting on a cool toned lip in a sophisticated, you know, from a sophisticated makeup color, from a sophisticated makeup color in a sophisticated color palette looks so powerful and so good, especially when you look at other people in the scene, especially other women, and their makeup game isn't as exciting, right? So from here, I look tired. And in fact, I am tired. We did start by getting some concealer under our eyes, not thick, but now that we've had fallout, now that we've had, you know, different things happen with our makeup, maybe we'll use a beauty sponge to kind of dab some of that off. Maybe we'll go in with some more concealer to take out these dark circles under my eyes. I literally have been getting out of bed early just to get a jump on these quote requirements from the maintenance people. And you know, I got it all done and then I put it all back, but there's some little bit that needs to happen tomorrow. You know, but again, in the spirit of getting things done, we just try to go as long as we can and do as much as we can and not neglect our YouTube friends or our friends on different apps. You know, not wanting to add too much of a layer of concealer, but definitely wanting to cancel out the dark circles. I did actually get a really exciting little concealer palette. I may have mentioned it the other day from Daiso, right? We had brought this down our nose, on our, whatever this is called, under the nose and to our middle of our forehead. But it is a concealer palette from this company called You Are Glam that they sell at Daiso. So it's $1.50, I think. But it seems to have tones that I was most interested in this pink. There's such a kind of hype about pink concealer or blending concealer and pink or pink powder. See if that eliminates this darkness under my eyes. Is it just because of my lighting? Are we focusing? You know, nighttime might not be the best hour for the lighting scheme I have right now. I do have, you know, various lights on, but I tried to take out some amount of that glare by folding on the sides of our mirror. But you know what it is. It's nighttime. We're trying to get into this makeup look. We're trying to use products that aren't written in English, but, you know, really try to test out our artistry. Right? This is a cream product. Let's see if we can, you know, I have so many brushes that are labeled. This is micro blending. Is that too much of a brush? Here's a pencil brush, number 6 from BH Cosmetics. That looks right. Just to use a small brush. Some kind of small brush that isn't gonna be, why do I have 2 of these? 2 micro blending brushes. And one seems to be smaller than the other. I don't know. From Eco Tools. Bomb, 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 right? Here's one of these brushes, these like toothbrush brushes. It's very precise. Is this the right brush? Or could there be a better brush for us? Here is a Morphe M124. It's very tiny. This might be right. All right, so let's leave Mr. Pencil Brush and Mr. Toothbrush Brush. These brushes had a name. I can't remember what it is, but in any case, we're gonna rock with this pink. There's some other tones that, this one might be close to our skin tone, but pale. This one's a little bit darker. Could be a subtle contour shade, maybe for when we're tan. But I do like Asian cosmetic companies because they off the bat, they get the yellow undertone. They're not trying to front. I guess before we do that, maybe we should finish off the rest of this concealer before it dries. You know, and just put it into the conceal places. I did watch someone's TikTok today and they were talking about, you know, all this placing your contour high can kind of cut off your cheekbone, whereas you really want your contour under your cheekbone, right? And you want your brightening concealer under that contour, right? So that it will make the contour shade, which should be cool toned, pop. And this person was talking about Neapolitan ice cream. You need contour, blush, highlighter, right? Or contour, bronzer, blush. Ideas to think about. So this is our little cat's paw with this pink concealer. We're wanting just the tip to get into the very darkest area under our eye. And I think this was definitely the right brush. It's giving us precision, right? Other side. Pink. I have some, what do you call it? Color correcting palettes that they have purple, they have yellow, they have green, but none of them have pink. But our thoughtful friends in Japan have created a palette that has pink. And there's so much heat around putting, you know, pink under the under eye, bringing your blush very close to your eye. This is a kind of cream product. Just trying to use this to clean up our shadow liner. What's not good about it is that it's kind of creating texture under the eye, but you know, we're trying to get into this pink and see if pink, part of me wants to go and search out the Ben Nye pink powder. Part of me is like, wow, I have enough powder. Why do I need another powder because it's pink? Well, it's just like this pink concealer. We're just trying to see if it's going to do something magical. We've tried yellow concealer, we've tried yellow powder. We get into powder for a while, and then, you know, one day in the wrong light, it makes us look crazy and we stop. So I don't think this product is terrible. It doesn't feel holy grail. It feels like, yeah, I can rock with this. It's definitely given us brightness, but let's go in with some concealer in a dark shade. Should we do a contour cream and then set that with a contour powder? The problem is a lot of our contour creams are very warm, and our favorite contour powders are not, right? Just like this Kat Von D contour palette. It has pale shades and it has a contour shade, but maybe we can use the same brush and see if we can use the lighter shade in this palette, which is Levitation and Subconscious. I see now that the Shade and Light Contour Duo is refillable and reusable packaging. Surprising. Is this Kat Von D in the Kat Von D era, or is this Kat Von D in the KVD era? The only bad part is the mirror is cloudy. So that doesn't really help very much, but we're trying to do something to make this pink shade look more human. And surprisingly, this powder does do a decent job. I'm not even sure, I know what the names of the shades are. I randomly got this, but I'm not sure where it fits in terms of being, you know, pale, medium, or dark. But yeah, our makeup is about the interplay between light and shadow, reinforcing the bright stripe down the middle of the nose, these areas right under the nose, stroking it on below the chin, to kind of widen and bring our chin forward, maybe under the lip. All right, no need to be cheap with product. We have a lot of product. We can get into it, see what's going on, right? They say put brightening right under the mouth in a lifted shape, brighten by the eye in a lifted shape, right? Wanting to set that pink cream with a human colored powder so that we don't look like pink rings under the eyes. Not quite, but we definitely look different. So it's time for some contour. Now, if this contour powder is something we want to rock with, then we need to get some sort of contour cream on our eyes. Now, where has our eyeshadow palette gone? We're attempting to be organized. And as much as we're doing our makeup late at night, right? Totally plastic blue fur. Let's take a gander in our mirror. Our eyeshadow is definitely lifted. Our eyeshadow stamped over liner is definitely the right shape. We definitely have a blend happening. And now we've highlighted. So what we want to do is identify some kind of hopefully cool toned, shadowy contour that isn't going to embarrass us. We do have these two contour shades from Wet n Wild, and one is more disappointing than the other one. This one's Oaks on You. This one's Call Me Maple, and I've heard that there's another one. But I feel like Oaks on You is at least a little bit cooler than this very warm but darker maple shade. We have a series of concealers. We have a series of contour powders, but you know, maybe this paler shade can be our cream base. Maybe this isn't the right brush. Maybe this is the right brush. I've seen this guy before. You've seen how sharp these edges are. This is a lash line brush from some company called BM, and I always intend to figure out what BM stands for. I want to say Black Magic, but I don't know. So if we use this and we think about the contour places, right? And we think about, we also have these Black Radiance colors, but let's try to rock with this, right? We are a little bit tan. We've been getting outside and doing some things. Getting this on our brush, right? Top of ear. I mean, because of lighting, we can actually see where and we can feel where our cheekbone is, right? This isn't the darkest color, but it is cool. All right, looking into our wide ass mirror. This mirror is very wide, so it kind of lets you look and see where the symmetry is from one side of your face to the other. Now, there's a school of thought that says take your contour and lift, and also take your contour down along that muscle, right? Suddenly we're not using some deep dark shade, but we're using enough of a shade to contrast, right? You see the way that your face moves, and take it down to sculpt along that muscle, right? A lot of actors, you know, are compelled to keep their weight down, I believe, in part because when you're more slender, the muscles in your face show more, so that you can express yourself not better, but differently than you can when your face is a little bit more filled out. It's definitely something to experiment with, right? To kind of like think about how your fitness level, how the appearance of your face, you know, Botox is so fashionable. I see all these ads for Juvederm. I have colleagues and friends who do a lot of that. If you've seen Top Gun, you may have seen, you know, what really good cosmetic work looks like, right? Tom Cruise and Jennifer Connelly look incredible, you know, but also what good cinematographers whose job it is to make you look good, what that looks like, because just getting this onto the nose. And what's great about this brush is it has sharp edges, right? We're always frustrated how to get converging lines on the nose, right? How to kind of respect that center line and get converging lines. That's not terrible. Some people say do a line across for a button nose. And then I watched a tutorial, an Asian woman saying, make your nostril lines kind of go up at an angle. So just looking into our viewfinder, right? Right? Without being the deepest, darkest contour in the world, but definitely enough of a contrast. And sort of blending that into the temples and the forehead, and sitting back and admiring our work. Now, have we stylized our face? Have we eliminated a double chin? Is our lighting giving us an idea of what we've done well and what we've done poorly? I'm definitely guilty of not really blending my jaw contour. I'll do all this stuff and I'll be like, voila! And then I'll look in a different mirror and I'll be like, oh, hell no. So it's always important to like check your work and, you know, just stay humble about whether you're being effective. So in the contour world, is it worth exploring that other color of Wet n Wild Mega Glow Makeup Stick? I hear that they have blush colors as well. We have maple, which seems a little warm, but oak is nicely, it's not super dark, but it seems cooler. Oh no. Not the greatest packaging from our friends at Elf, but it definitely is affordable, right? So as you make your learning journey in the world of makeup, you don't have to like buy all the most expensive products in the world, but you know, it is part of your responsibility to experiment and have a critical eye and kind of learn about and think about what works best and maybe what doesn't work as well, right? We go back into our Kat Von D contour palette with the failed mirror. Maybe this mirror is satanic. What's the point of having a mirror that's that cloudy? And maybe I'll clean it because I do use my nail to try to see if this filminess is something that can be fixed, but I'm not sure. So, same brush from before, Batman mirror in effect, stroking into our contour shade, looking to set our contour with this cool tone powder, right? And using a very small brush to try to make our lines clear but not muddy, right? Clear jaw contour, clear shaping on the chin, but not going into that place of like, I don't know, gimmicky cartoon lines. You do want, if you're sitting across from a loved one at dinner, you don't want to look, shall we say, Staten Island about it. You don't want to look like, wow, you used all the makeup tonight. You do want to look made up, but you don't want to be too much. Just dragging that contour, setting our cream contour up into our brows, thinking about that diamond shape on the tip of the nose, thinking about that button nose shape, thinking about rounding the tip of the nose. Our little pale line is peeping through. And is this a moment that we take some kind of foundation or tinted moisturizer over these brightening and deepening lines, right? Just so that we can have that structure peek through the foundation. I have seen people do highlighting, concealer, foundation, and then contour on top. But if we are cream and then cream powder contour and then placing some sort of foundation product over this as a layer to kind of make it a little bit more subtle, that might be an okay place for us to end up. And certainly we have a variety of options. Any new options? Yeah, we actually got, I forgot, a couple of new Revlon Color Stay Skin Awaken 5-in-1 concealers. And we did get one that's kind of a pale color, and we got one that seems to be a kind of pinkish color. But we're not going to get into that today. What we might get into is this Revlon Instant Age Rewind Eraser Makeup Treatment. It has octinoxate sunscreen, SPF 18. What a strange number, 18. Is there something else that we should go for? I think this one might be on deck because what else do we have here that we can use for make? I'd hate to waste the sunscreen part of it. We do still have our Warm True Match foundation, which feels very full coverage. Let's, F it. Let's just go for this Instant Age Rewind. So it has a little piece of Maybelline. And did you hear the tale about, I guess the Maybelline cosmetic line was invented by a brother who was trying to help his sister land the man of her dreams? Does that sound like something that you've heard about? Which I think is charming. So Maybelline apparently is the name of the guy's sister. And this may have been during the kind of like early, how does this work? We have our dish. We have the product. It has an arrow on it. Oh, okay, sorry. So that the kind of wine colored part turns separate from the base. I thought it might just turn up there. So just turn it in the direction of the arrow and wait, as we do in many situations. Wait for the magic to emerge from the tip. Does this sound like a story that might be applicable to other parts of life? How much twisting do we need to do? I hear something. Let's see if we're getting any payoff. Just a little bit. So again, the direction of the arrow. Ooh, and it's showing. Okay, that might be, I'm very reluctant to put this directly on my face, but here's a little smidge of product, maybe a little bit more. We can get that into our dish. And see what we're working with from there. So here we put the cap on. We have damp beauty sponge, but we also have our favorite silicone sponge. Bang, bang, bang. And we have our wide Batman mirror. And just tapping that on. That looks very pale. But this was one of the few colors that undertone-wise looked like it was in the ballpark. So just quickly tapping that out over our contour and highlight. We'll check in a moment to see what the shade number or name is. Thinking about that brow contour on the bridge of the nose. And it is making our contour and highlight more subtle. You can see it more clearly on this side. All right, still there. Tapping over it. You're not wanting to rub it out, but you're just wanting to create like a discrete layer on top of it so that it's not screaming at the top of its lungs. It has to be a little bit more kind of screened down, right? And already you can see like, yes, it's a little bit less paint by the numbers, right? Let's squeeze a little bit more out of this guy. Get that into our dish, right? And this is the 130 Buff Beige, right? You look at the little legend when you're at the store and you try to come up with a color that undertone wise makes sense, layering over, paler shades or darker shades makes sense for achieving seamlessness, right? You don't want that nose contour to just jump right out and slap everyone in the face and scream, oh, look at me, I'm contoured, right? You don't want it to overtake your makeup. You want it to be like your skeleton. You want it to be structure that respects the shape of that muscle, right? And enhances the shape of that muscle. And you want it to kind of speak to your knowledge of your face and your belief in your attractiveness, right? So that when the camera is on you, that maybe they're not seeing every bit of, you know, tasty cake and pizza and whatnot that you've been indulging in, but you're letting that very pretty eyeshadow jump out. It's looking more green on me than I would have guessed from what was in that palette, but I'm not mad, right? Because Iggy Azalea and BH didn't make a green. But when you put blue on my skin color, bam, you get green. We have made a pretty wing. We can use our sponge to kind of wing out that wing, make it a little bit more subtle. I think we've done a fine job. And so the underlayer of that pink concealer did take our late night shadowy under eye into a much nicer place, right? No powder. If we go in with a cream blush, we have a couple of options from Milani, right? We have Coral Crush, Cheek Kiss, 120, and I Cherish You, right? But I think we should rock Coral because of this green. So if we take, should we take a brush? Some sort of angled brush, not this big, something smaller. Something smaller. This is an Eco Tools. I feel like this is one of my OG. It's an angled face brush, right? Just getting away from our, what is it called? Silicone sponge. Getting this swirled onto our brush, right? If this is contour with some foundation over it, right? This is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Treatment Makeup with sunscreen and super concentrated goji berry, which I think tastes terrible, and collagen, right? Helps prevent sunburn, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but now we're wanting to, now we didn't bronze. I feel like some people use bronzer to change their skin tone. There, I said it. I don't feel like I need to do that. What I am looking to do is respect where that contour and that cheekbone are, right? And get this blush layer on the highest part of that cheekbone. Do you see that? Not too far in, on the highest part of that cheekbone, right? Is there room to layer on a highlighter, right? I've been looking with interest. Get this kind of sunburn feel across the nose, maybe a line just under the forehead contour to bespeak a little love from the sun, a little bit on the chin, taking our wide Batman mirror far away and seeing if we can finesse our blush so that we look blushed, but not in a unsubtle way. Using the back of our brush just to diffuse that color, right? So that to the naive eye, it might just look like, wow, she must have just run a mile. She must have just come in from the beach. This was a good choice, brush-wise. So from here, there has been a suggestion of a highlighter, right? We've got this Doja Cat Prism. We have some, do we have a liquid highlighter around? I feel like we have face illuminators that are cream. I did watch one person today. This is Liquid Glow from Anastasia of Beverly Hills in the color Patina. Seems very coppery. Is that too dark? Should we search for another color or just give this a whirl? We have these Doja Cat liners, graphic liners that we haven't used yet. We have a bunch of illuminators and group products. We have this Kevin Aquan Glass Glow Face Illuminator in Spectrum Bronze, right? This one seems a little bit cooler. This one seems a little bit warmer. What do we think? Anything else? I feel like I have a Gigi Hadid. Here's a Born to Glow Naturally Radiant Foundation. This is foundation, not bronzer. But just a little bit on a sponge might give us something cute, right? And tomorrow when the sun is up, we'll be better prepared. But if we rock with the Anastasia, what's your favorite way to pronounce her name? Anastasia of Beverly Hills. If we get this in our dish and then onto our silicone beauty sponge. Ooh, is that too much? We'll see, right? It seems very dark. Is this gonna mess up our makeup? Is it gonna be too dark to, you know, act as a highlight? Let's try a smidge before we go crazy. High points of cheek, right? Something so that when it's on the face, it just gives you a little bit of glow, right? Is it too dark or is it just the right color over that blush? Can you see what I'm working with here? Right? In a layer just on top of the blush, which is sitting on top of our powder contour, which is sitting on top of our cream contour. If it's too much, we can use a beauty sponge to bounce it out. Is this color too dark or is it just fine on our skin tone? Right, if we take it just into the center of the nose and on the tip, right? We can use our finger to tap that in. It is, it is a bit saturated in color. I don't hate it, but it almost seems more saturated in color than our blush, right? This nose part might be a little too much on the bridge. We put a little above our brow bone, right? But so much, I mean, we're experimenting because I have a lot of highlighters that are like frosty white with blue, frosty white with pink, frosty white, just these holographic kind of Jeffree Star-esque POC unfriendly highlighters. But here we have, I think, a POC friendly highlighter, but it's looking a little Cirque du Soleil. We'll have to judge in daylight, but if we get this to all the, what do you call it? Highlighter places. Let's turn this off. Let's turn it back on. Too much, too little, too much. All right, looking in all of our different angles of light. Does this make it more beautiful? Does it make it less beautiful? Does it need to be paler? This is what it looks like on our sponge. Very kind of copper penny. Is copper penny too much? Is copper penny appropriate for the brow bone? Are we just sort of too accustomed to seeing highlighters that are, you know, really too pale for our skin tone? Is this good or is it bad? Does it make us look muddy? Are we going a little bananas? I mean, in theory, copper penny on a warm skin tone. Is this the kind of gold or silver for our skin tone that we haven't been achieving with those, you know, pale? I don't think those other tones of highlighter look bad, but I don't think that they necessarily flatter our skin tone. So beauty sponge, just to tap it out, just to make it a little bit more of a wash than such an appreciably saturated copper, right? And is copper the right tone to have live as a highlighter on our skin tone, right? We collect these things and we don't necessarily have a belief or a theory. Is that too much highlighter? Or in the evening over dinner, will this just make all the difference in terms of making us look super pretty? We'll have to experiment in different light, but look at this pop of shimmer on our eyelids, right? When you're at dinner, I can't even see myself look down. When you look right or left, if you're out for a glass of champagne with a new beau, I don't think you're going to be upset to have something exciting and pretty. And, you know, it doesn't look like you just got back from the gym. It looks like you actually took a moment, like you do with an earring or jewelry, like you do with, you know, just making an effort is such a, it's just a really subtle, interesting flex. I got a bunch of different, what are these? I just picked these up. These are super dewy liquid blushes from Revolution. I got, on the recommendation of someone who said that, you know, black honey has certainly haunted me for many a year. I got a couple of more colors of these. I really do enjoy these Super Stay ink crayons, right? In different colors. Some of them have these little sparkly designs on them, but one is Enjoy the View, one is Achieve It All, and I find these are really good daytime colors for, I think I have to be a business lady on a long time medical drama, so these will be good for that. But this young Asian makeup artist on TikTok was talking about how Divine Wine from L'Oreal is a cheaper dupe for the elusive black honey, and I got it, and I kind of, you know, in as much as the Burt's Bees in Red Dahlia is a great sheer gloss that kind of is in that black honey kind of ballpark, maybe let's go in with a brown liner and then get this, you know, lipstick on our lips, because I believe this is a Marc Jacobs liner in the color Sugar High. Let's see what this does. It's not the darkest shade, but, you know, let's see what it's working with. But green tones that should be blue. Maybe if we used a more white eyeshadow base, we'd get more of a blue payoff. But, you know, cheeks built with all the way up to and including highlighter. We've got contour, we've got contour powder, we've got blush, and then we've got highlighter, and we stamped out that highlighter so it's not screaming. And then we're gonna go in with this Marc Jacobs liner and not overline. I'm not a big overliner. This seems a bit pale, but we're gonna go for it anyway. They say that lip liner can prevent your lipstick from bleeding. I don't know that I ever suffer with bleeding lip color. It's more of a mask rubbing your lip color all over your face. That's more of the problem. So Mr. Marc Jacobs in the color Sugar High seems more of a daytime color. It's a little bit too pale, but let's just see how this fine what is it called? Divine wine, not fine wine. How this cancels out that pale, I look like it's the 1960s, but you know, if nothing else, then the liner can provide a base so that the lipstick doesn't wander. We're always putting brown on our lips. But maybe that liner has made this a little bit more pink than wine. I don't hate it. It's not a matte. It has that unmistakable L'Oreal Color Riche scent. It's not overwhelming, but it's definitely identifiable. Are we made up? Are we ready for dinner? Are we ready for the Zoom meeting? Our eyes are lined. Our inner corner, our under eyes are highlit. We are rocking a subtle copper highlighter. Right? Our chin is highlit, bringing it forward. Our double chin is erased. What do you think? I think that we have done an able job of applying this exciting Iggy Azalea eyeshadow in a quite expert fashion. We have put on a foundation that has a very luminous glow to it, and we have done a yeoman's job of contouring our chin. Could we go for a little powder? I still can't get with the damp beauty blender in powder. I can't. I'm just not psychologically ready for a wet sponge in powder. I really still am a velour puff, even a brush in powder, but just that whole idea. This is medium NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop, just to take out any excess shine in the center zone of the face. We do have a Revlon, no, it's Maybelline Fit Me powder in medium that we do need to try on another occasion. We don't want any surprises, right? But the corners of the nose, center of the forehead, around the mouth, just to take out anything untoward, something that would make us look greasy in photos. I think we've done it. I think this is a very able makeup application. Out to dinner, crisp white shirt. Out to dinner, little black dress. You know, what could be better? What could be better than indulging ourselves at home in the safety and absence of monkeypox, in the safety and lighting world of our bedroom, just to say, hey, when we are ready, when we want to go somewhere, when we want to turn it out, that a thoughtful application of eyeshadow with a good blend, a thoughtful cancel out of any, you know, double chin or eye bags can be achieved. And then you can add a playful application of highlight shimmer in a tone that you may not have expected. It's not some, you know, frosted white color that is so prevalent, but our friends at Kevin Aquan and also at Anastasia of Beverly Hills have given us some options that are quite strong. Now, has our stream stuck with us tonight? Have we been able to do a makeup look that doesn't give us a black screen? I think we've done something able and pretty, and we've, you know, utilized our time before bed to, you know, think about what this blue eyeshadow palette means on our skin. Maybe tomorrow we'll experiment with a white eyeshadow base just to see if we get a more accurate color payoff. I don't hate the green, but again, color theory, it's the marriage of the colors. A more tan, yellow, orange me plus blue equals green, at least to my eye. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of this fantastically wide mirror from our friends from the Batman franchise. This is merchandise that I can get with. I don't think there's any reason for me to have second thoughts about Batman. I think that, you know, Jeffree Star, James Charles, there have been some problems. So maybe we can, you know, rock with an Alexis Stone, rock with a Batman. If not replace, then, you know, be thoughtful about what we are patronizing and what we're embracing. And if it's not something that we feel entirely comfortable with, you know, that we have to kind of remind ourselves and our viewers that this is what's been going on with this person, just so you know, then we can be informed and we can think about other choices that can be made in the marketplace, or at least staying conscious of any given person's personal evolution. I'm kind of a fan of this instant age rewind. Is it a little pale for me? Hard to say in this lighting. I think it looks undertone accurate, and it looks like it matches my chest and the tones on my arm. So maybe this is a decent color match, and it has some skincare properties which are a plus. These now very inexpensive eyeshadow palettes from Iggy Azalea. I heard good things. I see good things. We did not, in fact, try out the totally plastic contour palette, so we'll get into that tomorrow. We certainly have it. I'm going to try to look for the purple eyeshadow palette and find our white eyeshadow base. But look at that. Who can resist having shimmer on the inner corner of your eye? I think halo eye with the shimmer in the middle is fine, but for a heavy brow, kind of deep set hooded eye, I feel like this inner corner shimmer makes my eye shape look like it's the sugar honey iced tea, that this is the eye shape to have. When I see other eye shapes that don't do this, it makes me feel sad. I watch tutorials and people don't use inner corner shimmer, and I'm like, what are you doing? You missed it. This was your chance to shine, right? This isn't a, oh, I'm a school teacher, I'm a lawyer. This is a sophisticated, I'm looking for that pop of color. I'm looking for that duochrome. I'm looking to add drama when I look up, down, and around. And this definitely delivers. And BH Cosmetics, I really have never, I don't think I've ever been disappointed. Maybe I have a palette, something in Ireland, maybe in Chicago, that I'll have to look at again as I've developed my technique. You know, and I'll try to do this in the daytime so that, you know, we get stronger reads on these colors and how they match with my skin tone. But in any case, we've been at it for a while. We're gonna go to bed. We have COVID test tomorrow and more maintenance, and we have to clean up now. So Tanya from House of Tanya signing off. Check out my shorts, check out my TikTok, check out my Instagram, and I'll see you on the next one. I hope this live worked. Okay, thanks for joining me. Bye.